Hello YouTube, I got some more placer gold in here, and what I'm going to do is try an alternate method of getting all the placer gold to go into solution using just hydrochloric acid and bleach again, but we're going to try some different temperatures. I'll go ahead and open this up now and take a look at what we got here. Okay, this is Alaskan Placer Gold. I ordered it from a internet user on eBay. The name of her site is Judy Gold, and this is going to be 25 grams. That's the advertised weight. I'm going to go ahead and measure this. She's got me down as 25.05 grams. Shipped it in a little bottle here. I'm going to go up and check the weight here. And as you can see, 25.0, it's right on the money. And these little flakes here are much finer. They should go into solution nicely. The smaller pieces will have more surface area. Okay, I've got the gold split up into two 12.5 gram batches. 12.5 and 12.5. In my previous video, we tried to dissolve the gold in hydrochloric acid and bleach using heat. But in this video, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to try to use hydrochloric acid and bleach, but I'm going to bring the temperature down. I'm going to be doing two experiments at the same time here. Over here on this side, I'll be using hydrochloric acid and sodium chlorate in an ice mixture. On this side, I'll be using hydrochloric acid and bleach in an ice bath to keep everything cold. Being set up here, I've got a 600 ml beaker here with a cover on it. I've got a stir plate here, and there's a stir bar in there. You can see it rolling around, moving around. It's magnetic. So I'll be agitating this. I'm going to put hydrochloric acid, gold, and sodium chlorate into this portion of the experiment. Over here I've got a two cup Pyrex measuring cup, a glass saucer, and what I'm going to do is put the other half of the placer gold in here. I'm going to add hydrochloric acid and then do bleach in here. I'm going to have ice packed around the inside to keep it cold. I'm going to add ice cubes directly to this part of the experiment. For those of you wondering about the sodium chlorate, here I've got a website called Doodah Diesel. They have it available, 2-pound lots for about $15.50 there. I bet the shipping will probably be about $15 also. Okay, I'll start the experiment out by adding the 12.5 grams to each of the containers. 12.5 grams of placer gold. Next, I'll add about 200 ml of hydrochloric acid to each container. Now I'll add some ice to the outside of this part of the experiment here. And I'm going to add a couple ice cubes right directly into this. About 2.5 ice cubes there. Add a little bit of tap water to distribute the cool. I'm going to add some sodium chlorate to this side. Just about a spoonful here, maybe a spoon and a half. Put the cover on, start to stir. And now I'll add some bleach to the other side of the experiment over here. About, I guess about 25-30 ml. And the time is right at 8:30 a.m. And so we've got the experiment in progress here. Sodium chlorate side has dissolved all the ice, or melted all the ice. I'm going to add some more ice cubes here. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment to explain why we're doing this experiment with cold. Chlorine gas is what's dissolving the gold, and chlorine wants to be a gas, and when you put heat on that solution, it tends to drive the chlorine gas off, and then the chlorine is being driven off is not available to dissolve the gold. Okay, it's been 3 hours since the experiment started. The sodium chlorite container looks like it's put some gold in solution pretty good there. No heat. It's been cold the whole time. Over here in the chlorine or the bleach side, it's still looking. We got some precipitate, looks like, down here in the bottom of the jar. Can't even see the gold. Okay, it's been after 3 hours now. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of ice. I dumped the water out, and I'm gonna put ice around both of the containers, try to keep everything cool. Fresh hydrochloric acid to each, a few ml. After that acid addition, I decided to go ahead and add a little bit more chemical. Here, see if I can create some chlorine, get this stuff to go in solution. Got about a spoonful here. And I'm going to add some fresh bleach on top of that fresh acid. All right, we're at the 5-hour mark here, and it looks like the sodium chlorate side is going into solution nicely. There's still some gold left on the bottom of the container here, so we'll just keep it on the stir and keep it cold. 5 hours now. Bleach side here is very light colored solution. I don't think we're having as good a success over here at cold. And here's a look at the placer gold that's remaining on the bottom of the bleach side of the experiment. It's quite a bit left. And here's a look at the placer gold that's left on the bottom side of the sodium chlorate side of the experiment. It's quite a bit less than the bleach side. This looks like it's doing a little bit better than the bleach. It's at the 5-hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more sodium chlorate here, about a spoonful. And now I'll add some more bleach. I've got 5 or 10 more ml. Maybe 20 ml of bleach there. The experiment is at 5.5 hours. I just dumped the water out and added fresh ice. So it's going to sit there and let this cook. Okay, the experiment is right at 8 hours now, and I've added about 3 more spoons of sodium chlorate to this off camera. This is the 4th spoon. Alright, I just added that last spoon of sodium chlorate to this part of the experiment here, and I want to look up underneath and see if I can see how much of the gold's left. Looks like there's some of it left, but I bet there's probably 60 or 70% that's gone into solution. And now from the bleach side, we'll take a look underneath here and see how much gold we got left. We still got quite a bit there. There's some of it's gone into solution, but there's probably 20% maybe has gone into solution. Experiment's been going now for 8.5 hours. We've got most of this gold to go into solution. The bleach, however, is not being as cooperative. I'm going to go ahead and filter this off and see how much of the placer gold is left. Go ahead and filter this off and see how much gold we got remaining. looks like. I'm going to say there's just a little bit of silver chloride and maybe some black sand in here. There might be a few pieces of flakes of gold left over, but for the most part, it looks like about 95, maybe more % of the gold has gone into solution. That seemed to work so well. I'm going to go ahead and move this off the stirrer now, and I'm going to put this up on the stirrer. I'm going to add the stir bar, and I'm going to start adding the sodium chlorate to this batch as well. See if we can't get it all. I will go ahead and precipitate this gold. Okay, we're going to put a clean beaker down here, transfer the solution into the clean beaker, and then precipitate the gold. Use some Stump Out here to go ahead and precipitate the gold that we've extracted from the 12.5 grams with sodium chlorate. I've filtered it. Now I'm going to add some sodium metabisulfite and precipitate the gold. The first 3 spoons of sodium metabisulfite had no precipitating effect, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Pretty neat looking. You can see as I add the chemical, gold starts to precipitate. There's so much chlorine left in that solution, it just goes right back into solution. Never seen that before. I've had folks ask before in the comments section about not being able to drop the gold. Here's a classic example. I can't seem to get it to drop out. I know there's gold in solution. I add some more Stump Out and see if I can get it to go. Got to be careful here. Don't want to boil this over. It'll come out. You can see it turning brown and then going right back in solution just as fast as it precipitates out. Now I'm going to do a Stannis test just to make sure I've got gold in solution. I know I do, but I'm going to do the test just to make sure. There you go. That proves gold in solution. It's a handheld digital thermometer. I just want to show you what the temperature of this solution is. 143 degrees. Went from being ice cold to 143, 141 degrees. Just dropping. What I'm going to do is go ahead and let this cool off and try to precipitate it after it's cooled down. While I'm waiting for that other solution to cool off, I'm going to go ahead and start the stir bar here on my bleach side of the experiment. I've abandoned trying to do it with bleach. And what I'm going to do is add some sodium chlorate. Start adding sodium chlorate to the to this experiment as well. See if I can get all this gold in solution. Well, I just love it when the unexpected happens like that and we learn something new. It appears that the sodium chlorate and hydrochloric acid reaction is really effective in dissolving the placer gold. It put nearly 100% of the gold into solution. I've got it filtered now, and it's sitting in this bath. I've traded places. I put the filtered solution that we tried to precipitate in the ice bath to get it to cool down. I'm going to go ahead and put some more sodium metabisulfite, Stump Out, in there and try to get that gold to dry. I'd never seen that happen before. And over here was the bleach part of the experiment, and I've abandoned the bleach. I've abandoned trying to put the gold in solution with bleach, and I'm going to go ahead and put that back on the stir blade over here and start adding sodium chlorate to see if we can get every bit of gold, every bit of the placer gold to go into solution. Okay, we're going to keep adding some Stump Out here. This is what happens when you have a solution that'll still dissolve gold. It just all goes right back in solution, but I think we've got it cooled down now. And I think the gold's going to come out of solution and stay out of solution now. There we go. Go ahead and trade these two now. Get this thing back up on the stir rod here and get it dissolving with sodium chlorate. Add some more sodium chlorate to this side of the experiment now. Like I said, I've abandoned trying to use bleach here. I'm going to go ahead and continue to dissolve the rest of this with sodium chlorate. Okay, I've added about 5 or 6 more spoons of sodium metabisulfite. I'm going to add one last one here. I still have gold in solution. You see that big white foamy head right there? That means we've got everything out of solution. Now we should be good to go. Now we've been at the experiment now 13 hours. It's 9:30 p.m. We started this morning at 8:30. I finally got this gold to stay in solution. I'll go ahead and filter this out now and melt it up into a bead. I'm going to add a few pieces of copper to my stock pot here. I got some air bubbling in it. Copper fittings. See, they've got some nice gold in there now. Turning that air off, I'm going to put this waste in there. It's full of sodium metabisulfite, and I'll be over here gagging if I don't turn that air off. I'll leave it bubbling. So. It's okay if a little bit of the gold goes in there. I recover it out of that stock pot one of these days anyway. Now I'm going to go ahead and filter the gold out and get it into a filter paper here. We got the gold in the filter here. Go ahead and put the filter in the melt dish as usual. Melt it into a bead. Add a little bit of borax here. Okay, the bead came out pretty nice. It's got a little bit of borax stuck to it. Put a little water in there and add a little bit of sulfuric acid. Make a dilute solution of sulfuric acid here and heat it up, and we'll get that borax off of there. And here's our nice gold bead. Looks like it's pretty pure. Chlorate side of the experiment. Let's go ahead and see what the weight is on it. Looks like we got 7 grams. 7 grams of pure gold from the 12.5 grams of Alaskan Placer Gold extracted with sodium chlorate and hydrochloric acid. I've been at it all day. I'm going to go ahead and rinse down the remaining residue that's from this first batch of Placer Gold with the sodium chlorate. I'm going to go ahead and add it to this container here. Try to get everything to go in solution. Let this run all night. Now I'm going to add a couple of spoons of sodium chlorate, and we'll let this thing stir all night long. And I'll go ahead and add a little bit of fresh hydrochloric. Come back tomorrow. Placer Gold has been on stirring all night. I've set up a little filtration system here. I ran a hose over to my filtration table, connected it and fashioned it so that I could do the filtering at my fume hood. Not a whole lot of material left in there. Looks like there's some silver chloride in the bottom of the jar here. Doesn't look like a bunch of gold, but I think there's still a few flakes down in there. I'll dry this out and we'll see what's left. Turn some heat on over here. We'll dry this out and see what kind of what's left in this jar here. I'm going to transfer the filtered solution now into the, I'm going to use a 2-liter beaker for this one, just in case we have a problem with boil over, like we did with the other one. Stump Out bibonide. It's sodium metabisulfite. See what happens here. Last time there was so much chlorine left in solution, well, this is looking much better. I'm going to add one more spoon of Stump Out here, just to make sure we got everything dropped. Maybe 2. Add one more spoon of Stump Out here. There's that nice frothy white head of foam there. That means that all the gold's come down, so we're good here. I'm going to throw this little bit of residue that I've got into a melt dish down here and try to melt it up into a button so I can see if I can got any gold in there. It looks more silver than anything else. And it weighs almost 9 grams. Now this gold's been allowed to settle down for about a half hour, 45 minutes. Go ahead and dump it off into my stock pot here. Don't worry about it if a little bit of gold goes in the stock pot. We're going to refine that thing, get that gold back out anyway. So. See what our total yield is going to be for everything. As before, transfer the wet filter and the wet gold right into a clean melt dish here. Add a little borax. The moment has arrived for a total yield from all that placer gold. Here's the first button that I got yesterday, and it weighs in at 7 grams. Here's the button that I just got today. And it looks like that one's going to be 6.8 grams for a total of 13.8. And then here's the button of silver that I got out of the residue. There might be a little bit of gold in there. What I'll probably do is use that for encording some carat gold in my next batch of carat gold. So all told, I pulled 22.7 grams, 22.6 grams out of the 25 grams of placer gold. Is I've got a piece of pure platinum here. That was a coin. We rolled it out flat. And what I'm going to be doing today is practicing refining platinum using this pure platinum coin.